The story of King Harish and his struggle for happiness. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Murtan, there ruled a noble king named Harish. Known for his wisdom and compassion, King Harish loved his people dearly, but his reign was marked by a constant struggle. Though he ruled a small kingdom, he often found it difficult to bring lasting happiness to his people. The kingdom was rich in natural beauty but poor in resources, and its people were often beset by small problems and petty conflicts. King Harish would often sit by his palace window, gazing out over his land, pondering how to bring peace and happiness to the hearts of his subjects. But despite his efforts, the problems of his kingdom seemed to multiply. No matter how many festivals he hosted or how many offerings were made, his people were never truly at peace. It was as though their lives were limited by the confines of a small and petty kingdom. One day, while reflecting on his troubles, King Harish sought the counsel of his trusted advisor, a wise sage named Vishruti. "I have ruled this kingdom for many years, and yet my people are not truly happy. How can I make them content in a kingdom so small and troubled?" asked King Harish. Vishruti, ever patient, responded, "My king, you ask a deep question. Let me share with you the wisdom of this world. How can people be made happy in a petty kingdom? The answer lies not in the size of the land, but in the spirit of those who inhabit it. A kingdom is only as strong as the values and intentions of its rulers and its people. If you wish to bring happiness to them, you must focus not on expanding your borders, but on expanding their hearts, on fostering kindness, understanding, and cooperation." The tale of a rascal friend. While King Harish grappled with the challenges of his kingdom, he also faced difficulties in his personal life. One of his closest friends, Rajan, had once been a man of great loyalty and wisdom. But over the years, Rajan had changed. Greed and selfishness began to take root in his heart. He no longer advised the king with pure intentions but instead sought to manipulate situations for his own benefit. One day, as the king and Rajan sat together in the royal gardens, Rajan suggested a course of action that would benefit only himself, at the expense of the kingdom. "Your Majesty," Rajan said with a sly smile, "there is much wealth to be gained from a neighboring kingdom. A small raid, just a quick strike, will fill our coffers." King Harish was taken aback. "Rajan, you have always been a trusted friend, but this idea is nothing short of treachery. A true friend would never advise such a thing." Rajan laughed, his eyes gleaming with selfish ambition. "A king must think of his own interests, my friend. What peace can we expect from a rascal friend, one who is driven only by his desires?" King Harish knew in his heart that Rajan had become a source of trouble rather than guidance. He realized that no matter how much power he held or how much wealth he could acquire, he would never find true peace with such a friend. The tale of the bad wife. As time passed, King Harish also found himself troubled by his marriage to Queen Disha. She was beautiful and graceful, admired by many, but her heart was filled with bitterness and jealousy. Instead of supporting her husband, she often sowed discord in the palace, undermining his efforts to bring peace to the kingdom. One evening, as the royal couple sat at the dinner table, Queen Disha glared at the king, her eyes full of discontent. "Why do you waste so much time with the people?" she complained. "Why not focus on our own glory and wealth? You are the king, and yet you let these common folk dictate your actions." King Harish, tired of her constant criticisms, spoke softly, "My queen, how can we expect happiness at home when there is no peace in our hearts? A kingdom, no matter how large, cannot thrive if its ruler is not at peace with his own soul. How can I rule a kingdom with wisdom and compassion when my own home is filled with anger and discord?" Queen Disha's response was cold, and King Harish realized that their relationship had become nothing more than a source of stress and turmoil. He began to understand that no matter how many titles, riches, or luxuries one may have, true happiness cannot be found when the foundation of one's life is built on negativity and conflict. The tale of an unworthy disciple. The final challenge for King Harish was his disciple, a young man named Kiran, whom the king had taken under his wing. Kiran had shown promise early on but soon proved to be lazy and careless. He would often ignore the king's lessons, preferring to daydream rather than apply himself to the task at hand. No matter how many times King Harish tried to impart wisdom, Kiran's efforts were half-hearted, and he lacked the dedication needed to succeed. One day, King Harish asked Kiran, "Why do you not apply yourself, my disciple? I have given you the tools to succeed, but you squander them all." Kiran shrugged lazily. "What difference does it make? I'm content to live as I am. I do not care for your lessons." King Harish sighed, feeling the weight of his disappointment. How can renown be gained by instructing an unworthy disciple? A disciple must have the will to learn and the heart to strive. Without such qualities, my teachings will fall on deaf ears. It became clear to King Harish that no matter how much effort he put into instructing Kiran, he would never find success in this endeavor. A student must be willing to learn in order for knowledge to bear fruit, and Kiran lacked that willingness. The revelation. One evening, as King Harish sat alone in his chamber, reflecting on the troubles he had faced, Vishruti, the wise sage, came to visit him once again. The king shared all that had transpired, the difficulties with his kingdom, the treachery of his friend Rajan, the discord with his wife Disha, and his disillusionment with his disciple Kiran. Vishruti listened intently and then spoke, "My king, all that you have experienced holds a great lesson. It is not the size of a kingdom, the wealth of a friend, the beauty of a wife, nor the potential of a disciple that brings happiness. True peace and contentment come from the quality of these relationships. How can people be made happy in a petty kingdom? Only by fostering a spirit of harmony and understanding. What peace can we expect from a rascal friend? None, for a rascal only brings chaos and confusion. What happiness can we have at home in the company of a bad wife? There is no joy in strife, only sorrow. How can renown be gained by instructing an unworthy disciple? True renown comes from nurturing those who seek to learn, not from those who squander wisdom." King Harish, hearing these words, felt a great weight lift from his shoulders. He understood now that happiness and peace do not come from external circumstances alone but from the quality of the relationships we nurture and the values we live by. His kingdom, his friendships, his marriage, and his discipleship all depended on the choices he made and the wisdom he imparted. Moral of the story: King Harish learned that happiness cannot be found in external circumstances alone. It is better to have nothing than to hold on to what brings no peace. True happiness comes from fostering relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. Whether it's a kingdom, a friend, a wife, or a disciple, the quality of these connections determines the peace and joy we experience. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.